Hi Aries, this is your December 2025 astrology forecast. We are starting the month off with a lot of Sagittarius energy. The Sun, Venus, and Mars are moving through the sign of Sagittarius in your ninth house. This means that there's just a lot of energy and desire to expand your horizons, either through travel or learning new sort of skill sets, expanding your knowledge, or higher educations. You may be either continuing education or going back to school or taking on some sort of new philosophical path. Venus is just coming out of an opposition to Uranus, which is at the cusp of your third house. So there is this desire to kind of expand your immediate environment or change your surrounding as well. You may have felt a bit stuck or limited and stagnant, and you likely would have wanted to create some sort of change to get out of that energy. Venus is also moving away from a trine aspect to Neptune, which is at the cusp of your first house. Feeling a sense of a bit of loss of direction or loss of identity with this energy. You may have been on the outlook for a new sense of passion, creative self-expression, or just desire to change the way you come off or how you present yourself to the world. But there is some sort of idealistic vision in your mind that you may be working towards. On the 1st of December, Venus is perfecting a sextile aspect to Pluto in your 11th house. This means that there is a lot of intense drive to expand your social circles. You may be attracting foreign or culturally diverse friends or friendship groups. There's some sort of deepening craving for a bit of transformation when it comes to social life as well as romantic life as well. But Venus does move pretty quickly, and by the 4th of December, it will move away from these aspects to the outer planets. Also on the 4th is our full moon in Gemini, which is activating your third house. A Gemini third house energy is typically related to messages, information, letters, emails, some sort of information that is coming your way. Now, what's really interesting about this full moon is the sun and moon are perfecting a grand cross aspect to the nodes, which is the south node in your 6th house and the north node in your 12th house. So there's some sort of confrontation related to the past and the present. This could be health related, it could be spiritual, or information just kind of surfacing from your subconscious related to your past lives, memories coming back, for example, that kind of changes the trajectory of your direction. It can be also very karmic in nature, so you may be having some sort of insights or downloads related to your past life experiences. On the same day, we also have a grand water trine between Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter. Mercury is traveling in Scorpio in your 8th house, which can be a very introspective, deep intellectual insights into your psyche, emotional world, to your psychology, and possibly those areas of yourself that stem from, trauma, challenges, hardships, fears. But it is in connection with Saturn in Pisces. In the 12th house, this can talk about addiction problems or escapistic tendencies. You may basically be faced with the ways in which you sabotage yourself, or just unhealthy habits that is holding you back. They are, trying to Jupiter in Cancer, traveling through your 4th house as well. So things that's coming from your childhood, your roots, your ancestors, early upbringing, family life as well. All of these are water houses, and these planets are in water signs. So there's a lot of emotions that are being resurfaced, coming to your awareness for possible healing or some sort of rejuvenation. But typically, they are supportive energies. So whatever comes through, whatever information or meaningful dialogue you have, or intuitive insights you may experience on this full moon, is really to nurture and support you moving forward in whatever area that you're looking to do some self-awareness or self-improvement, development type of things. There's also an energy of logic, reasoning versus like a higher wisdom, knowledge that's coming through as well. There is a lot of duality or dualistic energies related to smart thinking, that has to do with just kind of like the everyday knowledge and information versus like spiritual, philosophical, religious, or grand perspectives, or higher truths and higher wisdom sort of energy related to past lives or lessons you've learned in the past. And you may even be holding on to pain from past life as well, especially when it's Saturn in that 12th house and Mercury Scorpio in the 8th house and Jupiter retrograde traveling through your 4th house. There is this sense of either ancestral pain or traumas from your past life that's really having an impact in your current life. So there is likely to be a call to heal that kind of energy as well in order to move forward in a lot more healthy manner. That's some of the information that I'm getting for you for the 4th. Now on December 8th is a bit tense energy when Mars is perfecting a square aspect to Saturn. Mars and Saturn are both known as the malefic planets in traditional astrology. They typically bring hardship. When they are in a fighting aspect like the square, obviously they're fighting for different things, but they're confronting one another. Saturn acts as like the authoritative parent figure that limits, that sets boundaries, that sets laws and rules. And Mars in Sagittarius is that like wild horse energy that wants to be free to make its own decisions and direct its own life. So you may feel some sort of sense of being held back that can be very frustrating. Basically, you're going to be confronting limitations or some sort of restrictive energy on this day. On the 14th of the month, Mars moves forward, and this time it meets up with Neptune in a square aspect. But on the around the same time, the Sun is moving forward in Sagittarius to meet up with Saturn in a square aspect. So basically, the Sun in Saturn square and Mars and Neptune square can have some sort of event or hit to our sense of ego, vitality, or spirit. You may definitely experience some sort of public scandal because that Mars is on the cusp of your 10th house and Neptune is at the cusp of your 1st house. So basically something may happen, or you may act or behave in a certain manner that really confuses your identity or how you come across to other people. That's basically different from who people thought you were. It can be a bit of a confusing time as well as confusing energy. It can take some people back in like a surprise or shock. And it can be a shock to you as well. But when Mars does come in contact with Neptune in a square aspect, you can feel a sense of uncertainty, doubt, or fear that creeps in. Maybe you behave impulsively as a result of feeling inferior. Something just doesn't hit right. The Sun in Saturn is also, a very difficult energy. As I said, it is a hit to your ego, your sense of livelihood, aliveness. So combination of all the energies, you may even feel lost or without direction. Or you can feel very frustrated because your efforts or your energy output basically comes to nothing. There's no tangible results, outcome, or recognition. So you may feel resentment, but as well as like an internal sense of frustration and aggression too. So that's pretty challenging energy to navigate around. And it doesn't stop actually, for the majority of the month. On December 19th, we have our new moon in Sagittarius, which is happening on the cusp of your 10th house. So you may experience a new sense of purpose, birthing of a new vision, especially related to your career or professional sphere. But this is met with a challenge through square aspects to Saturn and Neptune. So basically the new moon, sun and moon conjunction in Sagittarius are met with squares from Saturn and Neptune at the cusp of your first house. So again, some sort of blockages, limitations, boundaries that you just can't seem to cross. It's like your vision or perspective expands, and there may even be a sense of maturity related to a deeper, wiser understanding, possibly empathetic, compassionate energy, widening perspective, especially in a religious or spiritual sense. But somehow these new direction just feels either unrealistic, too difficult to come by, too good to be true. It's just a new moon square these two planets. It can just feel like a very vulnerable but also fragile time, sensitive time as well for our unconscious as well as our conscious selves. So maybe just your desire to expand your horizons, to learn something new, gain knowledge, or develop skills in particular field is met with disappointment or pain. You can feel like you're moving towards a path that's like foolish. But again, this can be all just tricks of your own mind, because Neptune can be very deceptive and you're somehow clouded in this like illusion. So definitely let this time and period pass before you make any major decisions, especially before you give up on something related to a new sense of inspiration or purpose. On the 20th, the next day, the moon moves forward in Capricorn and meets up with Mars in Capricorn in a conjunction. Moon and Mars and moon in Capricorn is not a great energy for our emotional well-being. Capricorn is a very melancholic, depressive energy, especially for our emotions. And Mars is a bit too dominating and challenging for the moon to handle. So these two together usually leads to some sort of conflict. Our feelings, our emotions can feel violated either as a result of something actually happening in our physical reality or just the way we feel. On the same day, Venus is also square to Saturn in the exact degree, which can make love and affection feel very restrictive. So there can be something could happen that makes us feel pain or disappointment, leading to some sort of resentment. The combination of the energies kind of lead to feelings of vulnerability, but as well as just feeling unloved and undeserving. Our sense of self-esteem is very low when Venus is met up with Saturn in a challenging aspect and the moon with Mars. A couple of days later, on December 23rd, Venus moves forward to perfect a square aspect with Neptune. And this can feel a confusing time, especially for our identity and direction in life, because that Neptune is sitting on the first house cusp. So there can be a loss of identity or loss of direction, just a period of feeling uncertain, unloved, and feeling low energetically, especially the way we connect with others, the way we accept, receive love and affection. So basically, Saturn and Neptune does a lot of damage to our sense of identity, our love in social environments, as well as our ambition and drive this month. At the end of the month, the last week from the 24th to 31st, the Sun, Venus, and Mars are moving through Capricorn in your 10th house. Basically, we take on a lot more serious and realistic outlook, especially for you related to your career and professional life. The Mars in Capricorn is a really strong energy though. There is grit, determination, ambition, willing to work hard towards a set of goal. However, the Sun and Venus in Capricorn is not a great energy. This means that our ego, vitality, our spirit are a bit depressed. There is this sense of melancholy, disappointment that's surrounding us. So on one hand, it can be, serious. It can be a realistic outlook in life as we end the year. But on the other hand, it can be a bit depressing time and melancholic time as well after the holidays. So I think that's all the messages I have for you, Aries, for the month of December. I hope you enjoy your holidays and your end of 2025, and I'll see you in 2026. Bye.